All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Another lovely night here on Star Wars Newsnet Live. Hope everyone is having a lovely night wherever you're at, or morning. I don't know where you guys are at in the world. Hopefully, you're doing well wherever you are. Um, as you can see, Tyler, your usual host, is not here this week. I don't know what he's up to. He's off doing Tyler things. So you're stuck with me and Luke. I'm Nate, Nate Manning here, Star Wars Newsnet, kind of the books and comics guy, appearing occasionally on the show, but now I'm kind of a regular for now, I suppose. And Luke, he's also a regular, for joining us tonight to talk some Skeleton Crew and the latest and greatest in Star Wars news. Luke, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty well. My company's corporate Christmas party was today, and it was quite a blowout. So I feel exhausted from having a great day, and I'm ready to end the day with some really good Star Wars stuff. And I want to give a shout out to Oscar Tecolote, who, right as we went live, is saying hello, hola. So thank you, Oscar, for just jumping in here immediately. I love that. We've got people that do that.
I love it. And if you guys are in the chat, feel free to hop in there. There's not all there's stuff that happened this week. Skeleton Crew this week was kind of eventful, but feel free to throw us on a tangent this week, guys. We may need it. We'll see. But until we get to Skeleton Crew, before we get to that, I want to get your thoughts on Luke, on the experiences I've had this past week with online fandom and online toxicity, the ever so hot topic of the life of being online. If anyone knows me, they know I live in the cesspool that is Twitter/X and how horrific it can be. I realized something over this past week. For all the crap that Star Wars fans think, for how awful Star Wars fans think Star Wars Twitter can be and its fan base, I realized that they do not even compare to how awful video game Twitter can be and how awful film Twitter can be. I don't know if you're a big gamer, Luke, but last week was the big Game Awards, and
yes.
Oh my God, the discourse surrounding what won Game of the Year, Astrobot, which I played over the weekend to figure out how good it is, and it's a lovely, lovely game, well deserving of the award and all that stuff. I go online and everybody and their mother is just dogging on it for being just a kid's game. It's like, what are we doing here? It's like, God, no one can be happy for any reason. That leads into the entire discourse this week on film Twitter and Superman.
Yes.
Of course, the trailer dropped today. Really good trailer in my personal opinion. But the week started with the poster drop, and I wouldn't think a poster would be controversial, but,
right?
But for whatever reason, film Twitter decided to go off on the score they embedded within the poster. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, they included with that poster drop a bit of the music that is basically John Williams' Superman theme with a bit of a remix to modernize it for James Gunn's movie. And oh my God, film Twitter and specifically Zack Snyder fans cannot get over themselves. They cannot get over themselves. I'm sorry he's not coming back, guys. If you're a Zack Snyder fan watching right now, he's not getting DC back. Get over it. Move on. Stop. Just move on with your life. It's fine. I love Man of Steel. I have grown on Batman v Superman over the years. For whatever reason, I hated that movie when it came out, and his Justice League movie, I thought was pretty good as well. It's just like, but move on, guys, move on. And then Wednesday happens, and they show a teaser for the teaser. That's like 30 seconds, and I swear to God, I could not. If I see one more conversation about color grading from people who clearly have never been to film old school, I I will go crazy. I will go crazy. And then the full trailer dropped today, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a CW." It's like, it's a CW show. Oh, it looks like a low budget movie. Oh, they spent how much money on this? Oh, all the colors. There's no colors. There's colors. Like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. Film Twitter broke me this week. It completely and utterly shattered my entire reality of what I enjoy about film, and I can't wait to see Superman. But the discourse for this movie over the next 7 months might break me down to levels I've never seen before. Way worse than any Star Wars movie or show. Like, what are we doing here? Like, Twitter, get a grip on yourself. If this movie,
I think I've been wanting to say that for like a decade. Get a grip on yourself, Twitter.
If this movie fails, because you are begging it to fail. If this movie fails, DC might just die. Do you want that? Like, seriously, that's where we're at with DC. As I know they're putting a lot of money into all these new projects, but just wish the best for this thing. And it's okay to have constructive criticism. It's okay, but just these bad faith takes comparing it to this and that and all this other crap that I see online. Just stop.
Yeah,
Just
and that's kind of the
stop
sentiment I would love to bring to
and
Star Wars too.
yep,
'Cause,
and
man,
just go out and touch some grass, please. Touch some
please.
grass, throw rocks, do something. Get offline. Like, this week may have made me want to delete Twitter, and I never thought I would say that, but I am the amount of fake experts that were online this week in film Twitter was absolutely asinine. Rant over. Let's talk Star Wars. How about that?
Let's do it. I can give a little comment on that. I saw the trailer today for Superman, and I looked over at my fiance and I went, "You know what? This might get me to go watch a DC movie." Like, I'm not someone who goes out and watches a ton of movies, so it's going to take a lot for something to get me to the theater.
Yeah.
But like, I looked at that and was like, "That's got me. I think that looks good."
Yeah.
So that's my take on it, and I really haven't been too deep on the discourse on it. And it sounds like I should be glad that I'm not.
It's comparing it to Star Wars. Star Wars, believe it or not, is in a much healthier place than DC. And that's crazy to think about. It's in a much better spot. Because at the end of the there's always someone who wants to complain about Star Wars and whatnot, but they all, at the end of the day, come from a place of love and a love of Star Wars.
That's
DC,
true.
I'm not sure I'm not sure what that DC fan loves about DC. I'm not sure if they love old Richard Donner stuff, if they love Zack Snyder stuff, if they love this, that, the other thing. I don't know where their fandom comes from. And if it comes from the wrong place, that actively affects how they think of the next thing, and they dedicate their lives to just crapping on it. So DC fans and comic book fans and film fans, just go outside. Log off Twitter. You'll get plenty of color out there if that's what you really want.
There we go.
Speaking of, all right, moving on to Star Wars and something that we're gonna.
I just gotta say, Manslayer is complimenting the Ahsoka thing behind me. This is a beautiful Ahsoka piece behind me. Thank you, Manslayer. Thank you.
That is nice. That is nice. Good to see you guys tonight. Oscar says, "Make your way to Blue Sky." I'm thinking about it. And I'll get into why a little bit. I'll get into why. I'll get into why a little bit. Because a lot of the social platforms that I get news from are on Blue Sky now and not Twitter. So yes, that's a problem in my.
Yes,
all right, let's talk Star Wars, and specifically, they dropped Lucasfilm, Disney. They dropped some new Andor pictures. So we're gonna take a look at some of those.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. a lot of these images that they showed are straight up from the Empire coverage from a few weeks back, but a couple of them are new, and I think they're pretty cool. They dropped this
Mm.
behind the scenes shot of Cassian. This is more kind of the pulled back version of the close up shot. I still think it's pretty cool. It's always cool to see behind the scenes stuff
Oh
and
yeah.
the cameras they use. This was also new. Cassian and Bix in a diner, which raises where in the season does this take place? Where are they in general? What's their relationship like at this point? There's a lot that could, and of course, just the setting and how that's shot behind them, all the shadows and murky. Like, I have so many thoughts about this shot. I can't wait to see their relationship continue. There's also another new one somewhere in here. I can't remember which one it is, but here's just a whole bunch more. We have
We've got quite a
Luthen.
few shots.
Yeah, Luthen down here. That was from Empire. Deidre and what is his name? Blue Milk Boy.
Major Partagaz. Sorry, Cyril Karn.
That's right. Cyril Karn, a Blue Milk Boy, as a
Yeah.
call him. Of course, playing off that diner scene, here we have them sharing a loving embrace, Bix and Cassian, which, of course, in season 1 they had some romantic tension, but there was the other guy in the room that is no longer in the picture. So,
R.I.P. Tim.
Yeah. Do you think we could see a romance between these two in season 2?
That's a great question, because in season 1, now granted, I think I've only watched it once, haven't rewatched it, planning on doing that. But in my initial watch, I didn't think that these two had a ton of romantic hints. I could tell that there was maybe something there, a really good friendship.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing from season 2, there's a history there. What we're seeing from season 2 seems an awful lot like Gilroy has put these characters pretty far down a romantic interest path, and so I'm interested in that. I would love to see where that goes. I can only imagine it's going to end in heartbreak for Cassian.
I know, because Bix,
boy,
can she really survive? I don't know.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, she obviously she can. I mean, the galaxy's a very large place, so it obviously can. So there's tons of avenues they can go. Of course, this shot here we have Cassian and some characters that I don't recognize. They might be new characters. Obviously investigating something. I love the shot here of Luthen and Mon just talking, and the stormtroopers just inching behind them. We're gonna see a lot more Empire in this season. I feel like just well, obviously season 1 had a lot of Empire as well, but I feel like it's gonna get very intense, a lot more intense. Some of these scenes as these two, Luthen and Mon, they have to get way more desperate in order to get a foothold leading into Rogue One. So that's going to be fascinating to see. And of course, sometime during the season, Mon has to formally state her alliance with the Rebellion, as we saw in Star Wars Rebels, tying into that. I still think we're going to see some Rebels characters in season 2. I hope that comes to pass. We already have that established with Zeb, Hera, Sabine. We have those characters already. We have them all already. We have them already from Ahsoka. They're all cast. Why not bring them back?
That's I'm with you there too. I would love some more Hera. I'm reading her in Alphabet Squadron right now. She's really cool. So I would love to see a little bit of Hera in season 2 of Andor.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Manslayer has a thought here. It would be awesome if they visit Canto Bight, a place that matches with Andor aesthetic. That would be cool. Interesting. I struggle to figure out the context, but if anyone can figure it out, it's Tony Gilroy.
They have to find the Master Codebreaker again.
God.
Except for the first time.
Hey, we're not only bringing back Rebels characters, we're bringing back DJ. Let's go.
Let's go. It's young DJ.
Oh my God. I mean, they could. They won't, but they could. these images I thought were really cool. There's a behind the scenes shot of Mon and Tony Gilroy right there. Of
Ooh.
course, there's Ben Mendelsohn's Orson Krennic, which I'm fascinated to see what
Oh,
his role in
yes.
this season is. I honestly have no idea. I have no idea what he's going to be up to. Um, Obviously, at this point in the timeline, he's all focused on trying to finish up the Death Star.
And
But
I think the little blurb we have is that he, like the little couple sentences is that he's like trying to get fundraising for the Death Star and he's like over budget and behind schedule. So like he's very
yeah,
stressed about his
yeah,
project. So I'm interested to see how that manifests itself
yeah,
into the show.
100%. Oscar kind of goes off what we were saying about Bix and Cassie, and the impression he had is when they were young, there was something there.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. There's the scene where Andor sneaks into her courtyard and they're reminiscing when her dad caught him and sneaking into her room. Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, that's the impression I got, that there's definitely something there, but when you're kids, you have a lot of emotions running around, but as you get older, you realize, yeah, maybe we're not meant to be. And I think that's kind of where they're at in season 1, heading into season 2, where they might have to work a lot closer together. What's that going to bring out between them? I think that could be fun.
Yeah, could rekindle something between them romantically, and I'm kind of for it. They're a good-looking couple, the two of them. So let's see it.
That they
Give
are
us more of them on screen.
they are two beautiful people.
They
They're
really
some of
are.
All right, let's talk. All right, Luke, I know you're a big guy, a big fan of comics and publishing in general.
Absolutely.
So right around this time every month, comic publishers release / announce new information on what they have upcoming. Dark Horse announced 2 things that we knew about, but we didn't have many details on. They announced both of these back at New York Comic Con. Now we have official covers and some plot details that I think are very fun. And the first one that I want to look at is the High Republic Adventures. Not that one. That one. Sorry, first time running the show by myself, guys. All right.
Not bad.
The High Republic Adventures, the Battle of Iriadu. This is a one-shot from Alyssa Wong. If you're not familiar with her, she wrote the most recent Dr. Aphra run. She also wrote Escape from Valo, a High Republic novel. She is a lovely, lovely author who really gets down and dirty into characters that she touches. And this issue seems to be no different. If you're up to date on your comics, the High Republic Adventures is heading into its final arc. The main series heading into its final arc. That's basically the Battle of Iriadu. That's Daniel Jose Older's story. Meanwhile, somewhere in the midst of all this, we have this issue, which is going to focus on Gavi and Drigget, former friends turned foes.
Man.
And I think it could be very personal. Here's a little plot synopsis. The Battle of Iriadu has become the boiling point in the fight between Nihil and the Brave Jedi. Of course, this is strictly speaking in Dark Horse terms. I think the wider, we don't know exactly where this is going to fit into the rest. We'll have to find out. On the front lines, 2 estranged friends find themselves on opposing sides of the battle. When the 2 finally meet again after Drigget's betrayal, the fight around them is an all-out assault. The stakes have never been higher. Can their old friendship be salvaged amidst the ashes of war?
Ooh.
I love that. I love that final line so much. This issue will be released in April. Luke, are you hyped for this one?
I really am. Where did I rank that? When I was reading Escape from Valo and I finished that, I think I ranked that as like my favorite middle grade book. I had a really good time with that. So this storyline that really spun out from that is really, I'm just really happy to see that there's, something that still matters and is still continuing on from this book we got back in January. And so, yeah, I would love to see Drigget come around and realize that, there's a better way to help Ariadu, or there's a better way to help Valo, or the people that she loves. Like, she obviously thought she was doing the right thing in her own mind. She had her own justification for joining the Nile and stuff like that. She's protecting her own. But I'm going to really root for her to turn and hopefully come to the side of the Jedi and the light. So I'm hoping that their friendship can indeed be salvaged amidst the war.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see maybe a wrap up on that friendship and relationship. And really, the High Republic has 6 months left. Really,
I know.
like, I mean, Trials of the
I know.
Jedi is our last. It's our last book. So I believe
Yep.
that's like the end of it all. I mean, I don't know if all the comics are finishing by that time or not.
I'm not
I
sure.
haven't done that research myself, but we really only got a couple months, like half a year left, and so all these storylines are coming to a close, and it's kind of sad, like in a happy way, because like it's been such a good run, and it's kind of just sad to see it come to an end. But all good things must come to an end. So that's my take on it.
Yeah. I echo a lot of what you're saying. Manslater, you mentioned Ariadu, the planet of Tarkin. In older series, the Tarkins are a main are a big part of what's going on and what's led to this battle.
Actually, yeah, the Tarkins do have a stake in what's going
They,
on in the High Republic. They are, I forget her first name, but there is a Tarkin who is probably
yeah,
going to show up in that issue. Actually,
probably, yeah. So yeah, the Tarkins are a big part of this battle, and I think like a lot of the upcoming issues have in their synopsises have basically alluded to the fact that depending on where the Tarkins align with, that's going to determine the outcome of the battle. Obviously, they will probably side with the Jedi, but that's just the dramatic element of it. You got to sell it a little bit. But yeah, the Tarkins are definitely around, and they're very important at this time. Mansley, you also asked about when we hear news about new novels. I don't know. Obviously, we have Reign of the Empire coming out fairly quickly here in February.
February 25th.
In terms of the other High Republic novels, we have covers and synopsises for Into the Light by Claudia Gray, and we have it for A Valiant Vow, Justina Ireland. Trials of the Jedi is the one mystery. That's the one mystery novel that we don't really have the cover for. We don't have a synopsis for. Any day now, I feel like we could get that drop. I don't know when, but I am just waiting for the notification for that thing to drop. I cannot wait to see what they have cooked up. As far as beyond that, I don't really. We'll have to see what the back half of the year is like for novels. I'm not sure at all. But I'm excited to find out, because like once the High Republic is over, what then? I'm super excited for publishing to get to move on and really branch out, because as much as I've loved the High Republic, I'm ready to move on at this point. I'm excited to see the stories end and to just bathe in the glory of what Lucasfilm Publishing was able to accomplish. And yeah, I can't wait to see what they have cooked up. All right.
Yeah, I'm super excited for maybe what could come next. I'm hoping that there is another publishing initiative, and I'm hoping we could get that. Selfishly, I want to hear more as soon as possible, but I'm thinking maybe Celebration. We could maybe hear about what the next publishing initiative could be, if there will be one. Maybe it's going to be a bunch of mini series, or who knows. I'm really excited for what they could do. The High Republic made me realize that I'm interested in this kind of stuff. Really, kind of awoke that in me. So I'm ready to keep the wheels turning. Like, I want more.
Yeah, absolutely. One other comic real quickly before we get into Skeleton Crew. Dark Horse also formally revealed the return of Poe Dameron and
Hey.
BB-8 in Dark Horse's Hyperspace Stories Codebreaker. The first issue will come in April. This is a 4-issue miniseries. I was hoping it'd be longer, but I'll
Huh.
take any sequel
Okay.
era content I can get.
Yeah.
Here are a couple of the covers. Pretty basic. Nothing that crazy to write home about. Some plot details. Poe Dameron is a confident hotshot ace resistance pilot. He and his outspoken droid companion BB-8 have seen plenty of action against the First Order. Now they are sent on a mission to investigate a piece of First Order tech to decode resistance messages. But standing between them and their objective is an infamous TIE fighter pilot. Can Poe outfly his enemy, or will the mission go down in flames before it begins? Sounds like a
Hmm.
very basic miniseries, but it's Poe, it's BB-8. You can't really go wrong.
And it's Ethan Sachs, so I
Yeah,
enjoy what he
Ethan
does with
Sachs.
Star Wars too.
I'm really excited for Ethan Sachs. And in a miniseries context, I think he really shines. In small doses, I think he does his best work. Bounty Hunters took a long time to get going, but when it did, it was that small burst of bringing everything back together where he really put it together.
Yeah.
Because over 40 issues, there were only so many bangers. In a miniseries, every issue has to be a banger for it to be a successful series, and Ethan Sachs knows that. Earlier this year, he did the Jango Fett series, which is really fun
Oh,
as well.
true.
So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I am too. I'm trying to make my way through the Poe Dameron comic that Charles Soule did. So I'm
Oh,
about
that one's really good
midway.
too.
I'm midway through that, and it's been really good. So I would love even more Poe Dameron content.
Yep.
Really.
Yep. So in the interim of a High Republic, I could see them really pushing some sequel era content out to kind of bridge whatever they have planned between the High Republic and whatever the next big thing is. Because there's this comic, there's Legacy of Vader, there's Rise of Skywalker.
Mm.
I'm sure they might have a new novel set in the sequel era as well. That could be coming out in the fall. I don't know.
I'd
They could
take
have a
one.
lot of things.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. They've all been great. All the post Jedi novels, they've all been really fun. I'm down for another one.
Yeah. Would love it.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our main topic. I already see the chat talking about it a little bit, but let's get into it. Let's talk Skeleton Crew, episode 4, titled Can't Say I Remember No Atten. And I wish I could pull the receipt, but in the comments of our article of last week's episode, I got into a discussion with somebody where I predicted that that line from SM33, because he said twice in the first few episodes, "Can't say I remember no Atten." There has to be a reason behind that, and there was someone who called me out and was like, "Well, what if your theory's wrong and it doesn't pan out to anything?" Well, here we are after this week's episode where that line meant everything and it flipped the entire series on its head. But before we get into that, let's talk about your overall impressions of the episode. Did you like it? Was it kind of meh for you? What were your overall impressions?
I did like this. I was pretty positive on episode 4. Uh, I like the character work that this gave us. I wish we could get longer episodes, so we
Mm-hmm.
could just get more and we could have a little bit more granular time with getting relationships built and friction and thoughts behind things. But for the time that we were allotted, I enjoyed what we got. Neil really shined here. I really liked what we got from him. Um, and even Fern had a pretty heavy emotional, revelation there at the end that she's talking with Wim. So I really liked what we got with this episode. Not like the perfect episode of television or even the perfect Star Wars television episode, but I really enjoyed this. I'm really liking Skeleton Crew. Halfway
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, we're already halfway through this show. For me, this episode was probably the weakest of the series for me so far. Um, you might remember a few weeks ago how I praised episode 2 that
Yes.
for despite it being short, it felt like the right length. It felt like they got everything they needed to make that a complete experience. This episode needed at least 10, 15 more minutes to really flesh out what they were trying to do. Because we got to this new planet at Akron, and I feel like we got such little developments of what was going on with the civilizations that were there and the warring parties, and they could have had so much more fun with that side of it. So that part I was a little bit let down by, but again, what was presented to us was all really good, and I have no major complaints. Neil was a superstar this episode. Everyone else was kind of put to the sidelines besides Fern at the very end of the episode. I thought Jude Law was again Jude Law. He's always good. He's always good. You can't go wrong with Jude Law. Of course, and then you get the end sequence there that kind of flipped the series on its head. But overall, I feel like this episode could have used some more time to breathe, but I had a good time with it. I mean, I have more questions now than answers. So at this point, as we answer some questions, you always want to keep the mystery alive. So I'm glad we were able to close some narrative issues and then just open up a whole new world of possibilities with everything we learned at the end there of the episode.
I really enjoyed that these first 4 episodes kind of give us this slow revelation of a mystery of like, well, what is this planet? Oh, it's a crown jewel of the old republic. Well, what is that? Oh, there were more planets. Oh, they're all destroyed. Oh, we got to one. Like I kind of I've really enjoyed the journey we've been on, like with the
Yeah.
AT-AT and mystery and the AT-Akron and all those
Now
other
all
ones that we
these
got. Yeah. So
I should have
I
made a
have
list
really
of all
liked
the
that.
yeah, and like are they all and what was fascinating right away is like the episode started going to Ad Akron, and we knew immediately it wasn't, but seeing it look the exact same also raises a lot of other questions. It's like, what's going on there? Because it's like, why did we
Yeah.
ransack every single one of these planets that look the exact same as another? Like, what's so special about Ad-Atten? Again, what's so special about this planet? What's going on there? And is our boy SM33 the actual villain and not
Mm.
Jude Law's Jod? Because that would be a wonderful twist if Jude Law never turns on the kids. I think that'd be a lot of fun if Jude Law never turns on them at this point.
Yeah. And I don't want him to. Like I want him to
Oh
protect
no,
these kids. He seems like I really liked when he was able to provide the Eopies back and he
that
was
was
able to
awesome.
like kind of bargain to get the kids back. Like that was so heartwarming and
That was such a good scene.
I just felt like I needed that from Star Wars. I needed that from this show. Like I just really fell in love with Jod at that point.
Yeah,
He really won me over there. Um,
yeah,
I'm kind of wondering like what really happened with the Hatan clan and him. Like,
yeah.
did he k- did he kill them all? Did he truly
I was wondering.
bargain? Like,
I was wondering, like, what
there's
happened there.
there's some mystery there.
I would have loved to have seen. Again, that's kind of where I'm going with. I wanted to see more because, like, we only got
Yeah,
the one side of this war on this planet. That's like, and even the one side we got wasn't fleshed out all the way. It's just like
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But again, what was there was
And
fine, and what we got was cool. But
and you being a comic person, I don't know if you can recall this, but it made me think a lot about the Obi-Wan and Anakin like miniseries from
yeah,
Charles
a little
Soule,
bit,
where
a little bit.
the uppers and the lowers, like it felt a little bit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So if anyone out there
That's
has
not a
read
bad
that,
call. Yeah, that's not a
yeah.
bad call.
Jod had an all-time line. He gets caught, the smoke clears. He's trying to lead SM33 down. They, the Hatans reveal themselves, and he goes, "You know what? Just shoot me."
Yeah. Even before that, even before that, for me, the best line of the episode that won't get talked about because of how good that line was. SM33's "Come here, baby, baby."
Yeah.
Trying to, it's so good. It's so good. Just the image of SM33 babysitting John as a baby, trying to cradle him to sleep. It's just it's a crazy image I had in my head at the time watching that episode. But
I
yeah,
love how much SM33 has turned out to be like the crucial character, the pivot point of like
I know.
everything. So I didn't see that coming when we were, months before the show was coming out and we're speculating on what we're going to get. I'm like, SM33 seems cool, I guess. Seems
Yeah,
fine. But that character has turned out to be like
yeah. What's he gonna
the
add?
key. Yeah.
Yeah, and we all figured, oh, he's just gonna be the comic relief. It's Nick Frost. He's gonna do that, and he
Yeah.
has. But now he is, yeah, as you said, everything. He is our key to who the supervisor is. He is our key to everything going on at Atten. Of course, I don't know if his captain is the supervisor. I can't remember if they said that in the episode or not.
It's tough to tell.
Um,
But you know what? I just hatched an idea. Okay. We're trying to get information out of this droid that he doesn't want to give. Where have we
uh,
seen this before? C3PO in The Rise of
yep,
Skywalker.
yep,
We
I've
are
seen this.
taking
Yep.
SM33 to Navarro. We're going to get Mando involved. He's going to, okay.
Hey, I've
Probably
seen
not
that.
true, but
I mean, I may. Hey, it's not a bad theory because I've also seen it proposed that the New Republic knows that these kids are with a dangerous pirate. Maybe there's more
Ooh.
New Republic shenanigans to come while
Ooh.
Jod is trying to escape and escape the New Republic. The kids are trying to fix up SM33 or some manner of fun that could be had there on Navarro or wherever Enzellans are found. I don't know. Maybe they go to
Yeah.
Kijimi. I don't know.
Ooh, that'd be fun to go to Kijimi.
That would be fun. I don't know. I doubt we will, but that'd be interesting. Honestly, I have no idea where we even are in the galaxy. I mean, that's a whole other conversation to be had.
Yeah, only like this year have I actually taken a slight interest in kind of learning like the galactic map and like where planets actually are related to each other.
Can't figure it
I
out. My
I
brain just
don't
can't.
actually delve into that very much because also like I feel like it's not even very hard set like where
No,
things are. You don't really have to know that, but
no.
it,
But yeah, I
it's
feel like the
interesting.
books and everything just does what's convenient for them in the
Yeah,
moment to suit the narrative, which I'm fine with. Who cares?
I
We have
am. Yes.
it's like it doesn't matter when we have hyperspace that can move you anywhere in the blink of an eye. Well,
Yeah.
blink of an eye versus a couple days as we sit around trying to get from point A to point B. So let's talk about another star of this episode. Oscar, thank you for providing this comic. Neil is a pimp. I thought he was just an utter joy getting to kind of throughout the first 3 episodes. He was always the shy is not the word, but he's just kind of the nervous wreck
Yeah.
who just can't fathom getting into trouble. And he's best friends with people who love getting into trouble. And that's kind of how I was as a kid in a lot of ways. But this is like, but now he finds himself in a situation where he kind of has to grow up. And we saw that in this episode and his relationship with Hana, I believe is the name.
Yeah.
And they were just sweet together. I loved all their interactions, and of course, as Oscar alludes to, he gets the kiss at the end, which I did not see coming. I can't
No,
believe that happened.
I did not.
Yeah, so that was wild. Luke, what were your thoughts on Neil's involvement in this episode?
I really like that we took an episode where we poured a lot more into him and got a lot out because while he does seem like more timid, you could say more shy.
Yeah,
She's kind of
I'm
a
not
nervous
quite sure
wreck,
what the word is.
especially when they're on at Atten.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, especially when they're in Port Borgo. But um, I really liked the like dichotomy between him and Hannah. They kind of really mutually helped each other. Hannah now she is the next generation that's going to lead the Troik, and she's now been gifted kind of this like insight of like there is a future possible without having to go to war. And I kind of like the meta commentary of like for the viewers, like we can take that in and think about that for a second too. Um, but also, she kind of helps Neil realize that like
Hmm.
it's possible to be strong and like it's possible to like not be afraid of everything. Like she's also like a young kid and she's like battle hardened and she's um very decisive. She knows what she needs to do. She's got a lot of stuff like firmly grasped. And so I think it was nice for him to see that like that's possible for you. Like you can also like not be afraid of everything in your life. You have a future that can be stable. So I really liked how those two fed off of each other, learned from each other. I'm excited to see how that propels him going forward because he's also been the most inquisitive of like, what do our parents do? I loved when he brought that up in the past
Yeah.
episode. Like, they're analysts. What do they analyze? Like, I'm excited for Neil to become maybe more of a leader of the four.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see where he goes from here.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because that kind of brought something just to my mind that when we get back to Atten and it comes time to kind of reset all their lives, because I can imagine these kids will find their way back to Atten, resolve whatever is going on there, and then go about their lives there. I imagine that's how we'll end the show, because that I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But when it comes time to reset the board on at Atten, I can definitely see Neil be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do what you guys do for the rest of my life because I remember in the first episode that was kind of his whole deal because he obsessed
Yes.
over passing that exam, which I totally get. But now that
Oh yeah.
but as the show's going on, he's finding out that hey, there's more to life than just this, and I like that arc for him. So I'm excited to see where he goes. This was kind of his episode, and I'm glad that we got that. Episode 1 was the big whim episode. Episode 2 was the big just getting all four of them together. Episode 3, that was kind of Fern's big coming out party in a lot of ways. And then this episode was now Neil's. We still need a big KB episode. There's been flashes,
Still
but
waiting. Yeah.
we're still waiting. And again, a lot of that is because she is the introverted, shy one that is going to take a bit to come out of her shell. And when she does, it may not be as extroverted as we all might expect in a different show. It could be something as subtle as she just I don't even know, just takes a stand against something, and she's done that before in the show as well. But I'm excited to see where her character goes because I relate to her quite a bit. I just love all these kids together. Every single moment that they're on screen, I just really, really love.
They have
Oscar,
good
Hannah,
chemistry, really.
they do. Hannah had her eye on our little blue pachyderm
Pachyderm
boy.
or
Oh boy. We're gonna get thrown off the internet. um yeah, so let's talk about the final little bit of the episode because I think that's kind of where all the theories going forward are gonna stem from, and we've alluded to it already. So we learn about the fallen sanctum that is hidden on this at Akron planet. The Hatan take them there after they help them win the battle or whatever was going on between them. Then we learn a little bit more about the other crown jewels of the Republic. We get a bunch of planet names. We get a bunch of little information. We finally maybe can find our way back to Atten. But what do you know? The coordinates have been ripped out of the pillar. We're back to square one. And who reveals himself to be the villain of it all but SM33, which in the biggest twist of the entire show so far, bar none. What was your initial reaction to SM33's heel turn, if you will, if you're a wrestling guy?
Yeah. I had heard much the same as your kind of theory, like the past couple weeks, where it's like, maybe there's something to the fact that like he's phrasing it very carefully
Yeah.
that can't say, I remember no at Atten. And it's like, can't. So you,
Yeah.
so like you refuse to? And it's like, oh, that's true.
Yep.
He's been programmed not to say that. And I was hoping that maybe Fern outsmarted him. Like, you know what? We're gonna get that info out of him, and he was so close to giving it, and then
I would have been
the
annoyed if
override came.
if it was that simple, but
I know, right?
it's like,
I would have been
well,
like,
that's very
really?"
convenient. That's very convenient. But
Yeah, so I am glad that kind of, for the narrative story, 8 episode show that we're gonna get, that it did go this way. But I'm like, dang, she was so close to getting it. Like, I wish she would have, just because I love that kid. But like, no, it's so much better for the story that he does this heel turn. Like, well, actually, I was told if anyone comes poking around for that info, that I'm going to rip them limb from limb.
it was so terrifying.
That was actually scary.
And I need to go back and watch it again, because the Daniels directed this episode, directors of one of my favorite movies of all time, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and another one of my favorite films, Swiss Army Man. If you haven't seen that, go treat yourself tonight. Don't say I didn't warn you, though. Don't say I didn't warn you. They always do something weird with the camera and POVs and all this stuff, and it was no different here. Just a nice, just super GoPro close up on SM's face as he's just monstering his way to try to basically kill the kids. And it's like, I don't know what flips in his head, but it was so freaky. It was so freaky just looking at him, and it was so unnerving watching that whole sequence play out. And of course, who else to finally take a stand but our boy Neil at the end, learning everything he needed from Hana and just taking a stand against the monster, and didn't win, but it's the effort that counts.
Yes, he did. You know what's been a little unnerving for me? It's not a problem that I have, but it's just been very different, is that SM33, I feel like, has been the droid that we've heard with a voice that's like almost not robotic. C3PO he's got a lot of speaking lines, but he sounds very robotic. He's a robot. We've got other talking robots in Star Wars. AP5 from Rebels, he has, a lot of lines, sounds very robotic. I feel like SM33, if you turn the screen off, like turn the visuals off, and you're just listening, he sounds like eerily human-like. So that's just been kind of like, there's not much to like talk about there, but like I've been kind of thrown off by how little there's a robotic resonance to his voice. It's been kind of eerie actually to hear that there's not much droid there.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, he has a distinct everything about him, and I think that's what's really resonating with a lot of people and is making him climb up a lot of people's favorite droid charts. But of course, if he stays being a villain, I don't know if he'll stay up there very long. but we'll have to see where the series goes. So, speaking of that, what are your theories about where we're going next? I know we talked about the Anzellans, but does this change how you view Atten at all of what we learned in this episode in regards to who the supervisor is? Because we got another tease of who the supervisor may or may not be. We got that question again. There's a lot. Yeah. There's still we learned some answers, but now there's a whole lot more questions. So what is this Atten? I'm just so baffled by this planet. It's so
So
cool.
yeah, if I can just verbally process on screen here. Um, we we started out the series, and I was kind of thinking that there's something pretty sinister going on with the leadership of Ad-Adden, and
Uh-huh.
that very well could still be the case. But I'm kind of seeing some, like, I'm kind of getting some like understanding of why that doesn't have to be an evil or like nefarious plot going on. That like
Yeah.
if these planets were destroyed, which also, I thought these planets were going to be like Alderaan destroyed, but
Yeah.
apparently not. They
Yeah,
were
I'm
just
fascinated by
completely
that.
just ransacked. So
The
yeah,
others are
that is
probably
also
still out there
something.
as well.
That's what I'm thinking
The others
too.
are still probably there.
Like still actually floating out there, unlike
Yeah.
Alderaan. um, so I'm thinking that like if the leaders of Ad-Aden back when this, destruction of the crown jewels was happening, secluded themselves so that they could survive. Well, that seems like a more
That's possible.
noble
That's
cause.
possible.
Doesn't feel like there's something that has to be nefarious going on there.
Uh,
So
uh,
I'm kind of
yeah.
like, is there something bad? There absolutely could be.
Yeah.
Um, so that is very interesting to me. Like, what is even the morality of the person running the place? Is it a person? Is it AI that's like the supervisor? Um, I don't know anything, and I love when we get to this point in shows where it's like I really can't tell. I'm just along for the ride, and that's my favorite spot to be in. So I love throwing out these random theories. I am kind of rooting for like let's go get some Anzellans. Like let's go, and it doesn't have to be Anzellans. I would love a little arc where we go tinker with SM-33. We have an episode where we find out how to get into his little droid brain and figure out the next steps of maybe getting to a different crown jewel planet or some
Yeah.
planet that is also in this system. Also, a theory. This isn't super related to what I was just talking about, but the barrier we saw.
Hmm.
There's like those discs in the sky that were on at
Yeah.
Akron, um, which I believe they're also in the sky of at Atten. I'm wondering if those were what was used to destroy the planet. Like it, I don't know. It
Yeah.
seems like some pretty serious damage
Maybe
down there
there
on the
is no
planet. So
barrier and it's just all a lie.
that could be. So
I don't know.
that's a lot of stuff I've thrown out there. But what have you got cooking in your pot?
Oh man, at this point, I do like your theory that um maybe there is no sinister presence on at Atten. Obviously, we know at this point that SM-33 is associated with a villainous presence
Hmm.
somewhere, someone. We don't know who yet. So that's got to come to the forefront of where the next part of the story goes as we eventually work our way back to Aden. I still think there's some big things coming with the parents and how they are able to manage to get the kids back as well. Um, there's just so many interesting avenues this show could go. I just hope that, and I know this is a fool's hope, I just hope they have enough story to really flesh it out. Because if we're just going to get half an hour episodes, we're not going to be able to get all these cool avenues explored as full of detail as we might want. So that's a concern I have, and that's always a concern with these Disney Plus shows. So
Yeah.
hopefully they. I don't need hour-long episodes. I don't even need 50-minute episodes, but a good 40, 45 minutes is like this
That'd be
episode
so
really,
solid.
yeah. Just a regular TV length episode, like cable episodes back in the day, hour long, 8 to 9. When you take out the commercials on Netflix, they always clocked in at 41, 42 minutes. In the
Yeah.
days of streaming, we're spoiled for premium content that clocks in at hour 15, hour 20. Skeleton Crew does not need to be that, nor should it be. It doesn't need to, but it needs enough time to tell its story, and the story they have is very compelling, very interesting, and it's very fun to follow. So I want this show to stick the landing so gosh dang bad, and the first half of the
That's a big
series
one
did
for
it.
me.
Yeah. Star Wars needs this show to stick the landing, quite frankly. It needs it because it's gotten this far and everyone's still on board. Don't mess it up. Please do not mess it up. And I don't think they will. I do not think they will. I think there's too much talent and too much just excitement for the series and too much passion and heart that went into the series to kind of let it falter. So I have no big fear. It's just, yeah, I want them to be able to have the time to tell the story they want.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh man, every finger and phalange that I have is crossed that we can get a really solid ending, a really clean ending that doesn't feel like, oh, well, it actually just leads into series blah blah blah. Like I would love for it
Yeah,
to connect to the whole story. I don't really need it to.
no,
Honestly. So I would
no,
if that's what it takes to make a good series, let's do it. Let's end it cleanly, and I would love to just be able to like rewatch this almost every year, be like, you know what? It's November, it's the time it came out. Like I would love to kind of just like put it on repeat. I don't have to feel like, well, gosh, I really need to watch this episode or this show before I turn it on. So that way I can kind of get in the mood or get in like in the rhythm of it. Because like I just want it to be its own thing. It's going well right now. My thing with like pretty much all of the Disney Plus shows that we've gotten, live action that we've gotten, is I kind of wish the episodes were written more individually. Like
yeah,
I feel like we've talked about this so much at length, so I'm not going to lead a discussion going super far into it, but it just feels like sometimes we're getting kind of random splices. They made this whole 8-hour project, then they had to decide where to split it up. I think I would kind of rather like it to feel like you wrote episode 1, then you wrote episode 2, then so it's kind of my thing. That's kind of my nitpick of most shows, and it's still showing up here in Skeleton Crew, but it's doing fine. We'll see how it ends,
yeah,
okay?
yeah. It's not. Yeah, I definitely agree. A lot of and Obi-Wan for me was the greatest offender of
Man,
that, where it
man.
just said, "Yeah, we're gonna be done here, and you'll get to tune in next week." It's, but this show isn't as bad as that.
No.
Not by a long shot. Of course, Skeleton Crew. Well, that's not entirely true. When it was first pitched, John Watts wanted to do a movie, but then it was quickly reworked into a show. Whereas Obi-Wan was always conceived as a movie. Then they decided, we have Disney Plus now. Let's do a show.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like the reworked edits on YouTube of the Obi-Wan show into a movie where they cut out a lot of the filler slop that's in the show and reworked a lot of the sequences. Those are those are much better viewing experiences that show reworked into a movie that some fans have done. So that's a lesson. Not everything has to be a series, but not everything has to be a movie either. So,
Yeah.
but if you're gonna do a TV show, make the make the dang thing as a TV show. Like, just commit to the format, do it right. And so far, for the most part, Skeleton Crew has done it right through 4 episodes. They've all been solid, to great to excellent. I'm looking forward to next week. No idea where the show is going. I hope for some Anzellans. I know Luke is as well. I would like to see some more just Star Wars Easter eggs. I think that this show could use some more at
Yeah.
this point. It's gone so far away from it. I think it could use some more Star Wars tie-ins now. Just give us some more familiar things, because I think I think that would help this show out a little bit more. Just make it feel more Star Wars. Um, it's funny because I haven't
You know
really
what's going to
seen a
be
whole. Go ahead.
I think so. We got a taste of this in episode 3, I believe. But when it's the X-wings firing on the Onyx Cinder and they're kind of firing back, I think a cool little beat from this show is that like if the New Republic becomes more involved, um, they're going to be interested in like rescuing the kids or like just simply trying to get the information of where this planet is. So it's maybe going to paint the New Republic in kind of a, not that they're the villains of the episode or the show. They're not going to be that, but it's like they're kind of a force that's working against the kids, which I think could just be kind of interesting. That they're not like the good guys swooping in. Could just be an interesting take. They've already seen that in episode 3 where they're kind of firing on our own main characters. So New Republic could be a little complicated in this show.
Is Tyler jumping in here on the chat, dropping in like Path of the Open Hand, Easter eggs? I don't know about that. Give me some WAG 2 Easter eggs. Yeah.
Well, I think this confirms that this
Death
is
of
our
the
friend
Republic.
Tyler.
Yeah. Tyler, go play some Fortnite with Skibbity Toilet. Did you see that? They added a Skibbity Toilet skin to the game that I know Tyler's excited about. So
I didn't even see that, but I'm sure his children, his students, are giving him crap for that. Yeah, they're just probably not shutting up about it.
We got Easter eggs with the CSI hover tanks and Imperial Army helmets. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Severe's helmets.
Yep. And there'll always be nods and references to other things. But yeah, I don't know. Just I don't need cameos. I don't need cameos and guest appearances. Just I don't know. Just like I don't even know what my point is. It's just more direct, more obvious Star Warsy elements. I think this show could use at this point, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's built up its own story. It's not spun off
It's
of
its own
something
vibe.
else,
It's
really.
its own vibe.
So
it's building out its own lore.
I really appreciate that. And so I think because the first 4 episodes have given us such sturdy legs for its own to stand on, now I would take, a couple Easter eggs here and there. So yes, it's earned it.
It's earned a week for Mando to steal an episode. No, not yet.
Has it? I don't want Mando stealing an episode.
All right, we're not quite there yet. Maybe episode 5. Maybe after episode 5 we'll get there. All right, I think we will.
Is next episode Bryce Dallas Howard?
I
actually don't remember off the top of my head, but
I don't remember either. I want to look because that's a good question.
That'd be our best shot.
Because if he's going to show up, it will be in that one. Skeleton crew directors.
She's 6, I think. Okay, thank you, Tyler. But we're assuming it's Tyler, but unconfirmed.
Yeah, who's directing this next episode?
By the way,
Jake Schreier.
Jake Schreier. Let's see what you got in episode 5. But the Daniels did quite a good job. I was really happy with what the Daniels did with episode 4. I know, you yourself have mentioned how they are very good at what they do, and Tyler, I know, is very positive on them, and so I was happy with what they gave us in Star Wars. I was really happy to see what the camera shots and everything. I thought it looked good.
Yeah, for sure. If you like this episode, guys, again, go watch Swiss Army Man. Go treat yourself. It'll definitely be the same type of experience watching Swiss Army Man as this episode of Skeleton Crew. 100%. No farting corpses in Swiss Army Man. None of that. Just casual buddy romance, fun, good vibes, good happiness, all that good stuff. But with that, I think we will kind of try to wrap this puppy up. Luke, what are you guys recording this week or next at the timeline show or whatever you guys are doing?
So, yes, we still need to record it ourselves, but next episode coming out, whenever that might come out, is going to be episodes 3 and 4 of the Young Jedi Adventures High Republic animated show. That's on our timeline series we're doing on YouTube. So, looking forward to watching some more of Kai and Liz and Nubs and new member Wes. So yeah, going to be a fun time where Tyler and I just talk about some lighthearted Jedi adventures.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Season 2. I we're also coming up on the point where we're gonna find out when the next batch of episodes is gonna drop. I feel like that's
true.
That news has got to come soon. So my fingers are still crossed that we'll get more direct book tie-ins with the Nihil and all that stuff in the second half of season 2. We'll see, though. We'll see. It's the preschool show, and there's only so much they can do. But
a preschool nameless shows up.
But hey, if did you read Beware the Nameless?
Oh, yes, I did.
There was a nameless that was about to be shipped in that book. That nameless was going to Tanu. So
I know. Oh,
there's
boy.
a chance. There's a chance, ladies and gentlemen, that Nubs could face down to Nameless at some point in Young Jedi Adventures
and absolutely obliterate him.
Sign up. Oh, the pay-per-view fight of the year when that happens. I cannot wait to see that confrontation. Take all my money, Lucasfilm. I will animate it myself if I have to. I will go to school. I will do whatever it takes to see that. I don't care. I need it. You can't tease me with the Nameless, my favorite creation in the High Republic, and with these guys. You can't do that to me. I need it. I need the emotional turmoil of that moment. I need it.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
All right. So with that, my plugs for tonight are just go check out the news on Star Wars Newsnet and subscribe on our social medias. I pinned it in the YouTube chat, but join our Discord if you want to continue chatting with us anytime about Star Wars, life, whatever, Superman, bitching about Twitter and all this good stuff, Skibbity Toilet, whatever else you want to talk about. We have all kinds of channels for all that stuff. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun in there. But yeah, with that, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your night. As far as next week goes, we're not sure yet what's going on with the holidays. I know I will not be able to be around. Tyler may be back, but we're not sure yet. We'll figure it out and let you guys know on our social media and all that good stuff. We'll figure all that stuff out next week. If we are back, we'll talk about Skeleton Crew and probably Skeleton Crew only because Lucasfilm's not going to drop any news over Christmas. They might, who knows, but it's not likely. But with that, Star Wars Newsnet signing off. Star Wars Newsnet live. Have a good night, guys. May the Force be with you.